And Tim, Bendigo's hit 91.9, and the big news story this week is, well, Australia has a big connection with her. Mel B of the Spice Girls has entered rehab.
Yeah, but a different type of rehab she's been dealing with, something that I didn't really even knew existed, a sex addiction. We're chatting to an expert, Dr. Nikki Goldstein from the Sex and Life podcast on Podcast 1. Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning.
Now, Dr. Nikki, this isn't brand new. I mean, we've heard of sex addiction before, but can you explain to it, as G-rated as you can, what is a sex addiction?
Well, this is the problem is because so many of us can't agree on the definition. Because what we're looking for is a number. How many times a week do you have to be having sex where you're classified as a sex addict? But really what we need to be looking at is when does it start to impact negatively on someone's life? The problem with that is that frequency doesn't necessarily qualify. So somebody might be having sex 10 times a week and there's no negative impact to their life. It's all fine. They can function as a human being. They can hold down a job, support their family. But somebody might be having sex 2 or 3 times a week, but maybe they're pursuing that by other services or they're doing something that is unhealthy around that, and that starts to become a problematic behaviour. But the question is that necessarily sex addiction?
Oh, interesting.
It's such a weird one, isn't it? I guess because with like something else like alcohol, it's very easy to kind of spot.
Yeah.
So Melby's gone into rehab. What exactly is going to happen in rehab? How do you break that cycle?
Well, this is the interesting thing, is that if we're having a problem with defining and using the word addiction, I really struggle with a lot of the treatment surrounding it. So often people will use sex as a coping mechanism. So I know I've heard reports that she's going into rehab for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and sex addiction. So I would like to assume that maybe what will be done is be actually looking at the trauma that I'm assuming might be associated with her, high conflict divorce from her husband, and that in turn may help her to look at coping mechanisms outside of sex. It isn't just a magic pill that someone can take and say, hey, there's your cure of sex addiction. Because what is actually natural and innate and what is problematic, it's really up to an opinion. So what happens if you go to a rehab centre and someone's very conservative and they think, no, these sexual desires that you've been having are actually an addiction, where someone else might say, no, this is very natural and normal. We just need to work out how these make sense in your life and where they're wrong with.
Do you think, Dr. Nikki, that this high-profile instance of it helps people that might not have heard about it before or follow Mel B's story? Does it help others that are going through similar things?
I think it's actually really positive for women, because normally we hear sex addiction with men. We hear the Tiger Woods cases where they've been caught with their pants down, and then they say, oh, no, it's sex addiction. So what that actually does is it takes the responsibility away from the person, and it creates this illness. So they are no longer responsible for the infidelity. It's because they had this illness. So in this situation, what I really like is that we're not hearing about infidelity. We're hearing about there is a problem with sex, and it's a woman. So it really starts to bust some of those myths and say, hey, even women can have problems with sex. But I like that we're not talking about transferring responsibility here. We're actually saying, due to trauma, there is this possibility that someone has been using sex to cope, and that's not okay. We should be having sex for the right reasons, which is things like fun and pleasure and connection and love. When we start to use sex as a coping mechanism, it does become a bit problematic.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Nikki Goldstein, breaking it down. If you want more things in that realm broken down for you, Sex and Life is her podcast on Podcast 1. Love expert and sexologist, Dr. Nikki Goldstein. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Bendigo's hit 91.9.